Friday evening, we have game 2 of the Red Reckoning. We have the number 1 point guard in the house for it, and we got a little something extra on this. A Wolfpack traitor will be returning to Raleigh, North Carolina.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? It's time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Happy Friday to all. As always, I'm Grayson Boone, joined by former Wolfpack defensive tackle Kenton Gibbs. We turn the page from game 1 of the Red Reckoning to game 2 of the Red Reckoning. It will be a 9 p.m. tip-off in the Lenny facing the UAB Blazers. NC State has only ever played them one time back in 2010, and NC State actually lost. So we trail the all-time series 0-1. The head coach for the UAB Blazers, his name, it might just ring a bell. Andy Kennedy. Yes, that Andy Kennedy. Andy Kennedy of the 1987 ACC champion Wolfpack basketball team. Now, you might also know Andy Kennedy because he had, I guess, directly or indirectly, a part in the firing of Jim Valvano at NC State. I want to bring up a tweet. Shout out to Shadrack Scooter. This says, and I quote, "Interesting to learn from Joe Giglio." So the initial comment was made on the Ovius and Giglio show that Andy Kennedy, UAB head coach, was a contributor to the Peter Golenbach book that got Jimmy V fired. So Monday was revenge for NC Central's win over Gottfried in 2013, and now Friday's game is revenge for Jimmy V. Somehow, I don't doubt that Will Wade knows this, unquote. Kenton, we have a traitor coming into the Lenny, a Wolfpack traitor. How do you think Will Wade and this NC State basketball team is going to get up for the occasion?
I want to give you another interesting fact. Do you believe that he finished his career at NC State, Grayson?
He did not. And I know where he transferred to.
Where did he transfer to, Grayson?
He transferred to UAB. So UAB is one of his alma maters where he is now the head coach.
Yeah, it's time to lay it on him thick. It's time. You know, I think it was so interesting that the ACC Network basketball crew was talking to Will Wade, and they said, it's going to be a reckoning for the ACC, huh? It's going to be a reckoning, right? You're coming for some ACC championships. And he said, no. It's going to be a reckoning for the nation. Don't limit us. And I think that he's the same way with this get back. This get back ain't limited to one or two guys that may have done something to NC State. This get back is for everybody. This get back, I'm telling you, I love everything about Will Wade. And this get back, it ain't stopping. Central beat us one time. No. It ain't stopping it. UAB beat us one time. No. Your head coach was part of the reason that this program, that this giant went to sleep. Because let's be honest.
It is.
You said he was a part of the what 1987 team, Grayson?
The 1987 ACC champion NC State basketball team.
And when was the next time we won an ACC championship, Grayson?
2024.
Well, I'm sure that we must not have been competitive before then. I'm sure before 87, there must have been a ton of years. When was the last one before that?
1983, if you would believe that. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, we also won it all that year.
That's my point exactly. We were a powerhouse. We were the it girl on the block at that time. And Mr. Kennedy had a lot to do with us no longer being that. And it's so fascinating to me that a couple guys selling shoes caused the NCAA, a couple guys selling tickets, all that caused the NCAA to drop a hammer like we had never seen anywhere outside of SMU. And meanwhile, other schools get away or got away with exponentially worse things over the same time period or later. Things that make you go, So, Grayson's wearing his black hat today. Will Wade wore his black hat in game 1, and I don't think he's taking it off. I think he likes being the villain. I think he likes showing up to town and the sheriff gets a little uneasy. The tumbleweeds start feeling a little bit drier. the air you start hearing that little whistle that tells you the butcher's coming. Yeah, don't worry, UAB. Come on in. We're excited to welcome you in. We're excited to welcome Mr. Kennedy back. Grayson, don't you think they're going to be such gracious hosts to Mr. Kennedy when he gets back here?
Absolutely not. He will be walking into an actual Wolf's Den Friday night, 9 p.m. I hope this crowd gives it to him the entire night, lets him know how we felt from over 30 plus years of pent-up rage, frustration, all stemming from him being a traitor and essentially a tattletale. So I know the majority of our audience, you already know the story. For those who don't, there was a book by the name of Personal Fouls about the NC State basketball program under head coach Jim Valvano. And there were some contributors, namely Andy Kennedy and a couple other ones, had transferred out of the program and then basically ratted on some things that they found discouraging during their time there, a la potential bribes, potential mistreatment, the whole 9 yards. And that information getting out via book kind of got the ball rolling into Jim Valvano being let go from NC. So it is a direct correlation here that Andy Kennedy had a lot to do with NC State basketball severely falling off for nearly 4 decades.
I'm not saying, lawlessness is good or breaking rules is good or whatever the case may be. Sure, whatever. In the words of Boss Man D-Lo, I ain't never turned myself in. Do your job. Come find me. Okay? That's the NCAA's job. What are we doing here? What's happening? What's actually happening here? Again, it is what it is. It was what it was. It's a new day now. It's a new day. And I'm excited. Grayson, we've got 2 coaches who won SEC championships coming through here and locking horns in this one. I think our horns are a little bit bigger and a little bit sturdier. I think we got a little bit more talent, but Will Wade, put him down. And don't let up off the gas. Be you, Will Wade. Be you. Grayson's wearing the black hat because he wants you to wear the black hat. He wants the sheriff to be real skittish when you come to town. What's Will doing here? And that's how I want teams to be. I want teams to not want to play us. I want teams to not want to get us on the schedule because they know, oh my God, bro. They're a bunch of tryhards. They're a bunch of sweaties over there. They're just gonna, from the tip off to the end, they're gonna try to beat our heads. And I want the response to be, we won't try. We will. That's just what you're gonna get with us. That's just what you're gonna get. I'm very excited about this game. Very excited, And hey, like Will Wade said, mid-level ACC team. Show us what you do against a mid-level ACC team. The world is waiting. Riley's waiting, Will. Show us what you got, brother.
Yeah, on the Will Wade radio show at the Pit on Wednesday night, he likened UAB to a mid to lower tier ACC school. Now, last year, UAB actually was a pretty solid basketball team. They're in the AAC, and they missed making it into March Madness by only 1 game. They lost the AAC championship game to Memphis, who was in the tournament. So they were good enough to be right on the fringe of making it. After that, they essentially lost their entire roster, at least pretty much all of their main contributors. So they are a relatively new team built by the portal. NC State is a 15.5-point favorite in the Lenny on Friday night. And I love what you were saying about you want teams to hate playing us. Me getting this black hat is actually extremely intentional. I did it on purpose. Kenton references all the time, we want NC State to become the villain. We want to be the bad guys. We want to be the school that people are afraid to play. Nobody wants to put us on the schedule because they're tired of getting their tail beat by the Wolfpack. That's what we want to be. And this game is a prime example of leveling up into that. UAB was a decent team last year. Fine. They get a new team this year. Fine. We have a new team. We're impressed by what we saw on Monday night. We have the number 1 point guard in the house to try and put on a show for, and your head coach betrayed us. So now we got to teach you a lesson. Now it became personal for the Red Reckoning. This is a black hat type of game for the NC State Wolfpack, and I fully expect to lay it on them. Coming up next, we're getting into Fan Friday, 2 parts of it. First, we'll start with basketball, and then we will close the show with football. This comes after a quick word from our sponsors. Our first Friday sponsor is DoorDash. It's almost time for the weekend, which means it's time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order, these players delivered when it mattered the most. Let's break it down. Hard to pick just one from last week's performance, so I got to go with two. Quarterback CJ Bailey and running back Duke Scott led the way for the Wolfpack, powering 48 points, over 500 total yards of offense. CJ and Duke came through when the NC State Wolfpack really needed a big win, and they did so without hesitation and without delay. If you've been watching week after week, then you're not exactly surprised, as this performance was no fluke. Just like CJ and Duke delivered for the Wolfpack, DoorDash will deliver for your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you can save every Saturday that you order. Stacking it up all season long, you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday and keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply and promo period lasts from right now to November the 18th. Middle portion of our Friday show. Now time for Fan Friday Part 1. We're talking basketball. Here we go. First one comes from Silver Stang. They say, I think my favorite part was watching Will Wade and his interactions with the fans, players, and referees. Been waiting a long time for a coach who is fully vested in being all we can be. Excited as I've been in a long time, but in true Wolfpack form, still cautiously optimistic. I think the cautious optimism is totally valid, being that we've only played one game and we certainly have tougher teams to play here in the very near future. But I certainly agree with the way that Will Wade just oozed swagger and confidence, and that instantly bleeds into the team. You can see it. You can feel it. They are more confident because of how confident that Will Wade is. And Wade coming out of the tunnel and firing up the crowd, getting a tech up 50-plus points, showing everybody that he will not quit no matter what the score is. This is the NC State coach that is quite literally built in all facets to pull NC State out of the depths of mediocrity and hoist us back to national relevance.
You know, I'm ready to be heard again. To hell with cautious optimism. I'm going full-blown optimism. I'm going full-blown, say it with my chest. I think this team's going to do great things. You know, I get it. I do understand the cautious optimism and all that. I fully understand it. But I want to lean into this thing full tilt. And again, this is just year one. This is the ground floor, ladies and gentlemen. I want to go all the way up to the penthouse. I want to see where this ride takes us. But I'm excited as well. And I'll also say this. I think the other coaches before Will Wade were also interested in getting Wolfpack basketball to where it belongs in terms of being on top and making this team the best it could be. I just think they were very different, right? It's like the difference between Debbie Yao and Boo Corrigan. Objectively speaking, in terms of effectiveness for getting those hires that end up being winners, champions, all that, you cannot argue Boo Corrigan has not done a job that is comparable, if not already ahead of what Debbie Yao had done. However, Debbie Yao's personality is much more of a Wolfpacker than Boo Corrigan's is. Will Wade just happens to be the perfect marriage of the two. He happens to be the perfect marriage of that personality that you're like, oh, he's a Wolfpack guy through and through, and the ability to do great things. So I'm not cautiously optimistic about a darn thing. I'm excited. I'm overwhelmingly excited. And like I said, I'm ready to be hurt. If this thing don't work out, I'm okay with that. But you know what I'm also ready to do? I'm ready to run to the bell tower and scream, the Pack is back. I'm ready to scream, Wolf, while somebody beside me is screaming Pack, celebrating an ACC championship. I'm ready to hoist our players all over our heads while we're celebrating back-to-back ACC championships, while we're hanging the national championship banner. I'm ready, baby.
Next one comes from Corky Pack. They say, could not have scripted a better first game. Wow, just unreal. Val is going to be a beast. His basketball IQ, his anticipation, this kid is on a mission. The Val Revenge Tour is here. Him and Darion are going to feed off of each other. They will be the best tandem in the ACC. I do think it's a little bit poetic that these are the two players that represented us at ACC tip-off, and they also had the first assist and bucket of the Will Wade era, from Williams to Van Allen for the dunk. The senior leadership is something I talk about so much. Not just that, but the experience in doing so. They most likely will be the two most valuable players of the entire season, but they were brought here to be exactly that. Darion Williams looked like the ACC preseason player of the year. He was brought here to be the big fish, the showstopper, the bus driver. And so far, so good. Valvano and Lubin is supposed to shore up the front court. And I thought, even though it is against NC Central, he did an excellent job so far. So these two are going to be a fantastic duo. I'm in full agreement there. They might just be two of the best in the ACC.
Absolutely. And you talk about the idea that, there is a revenge tour and him and Darren and him and D Will and all the great things that they could do. I'm just going to say this, okay? When I talk about these two guys being on a mission, they know this might be it for both of them. In terms of I'm playing basketball at the highest level with the most eyes on me, because objectively speaking, they don't have prototypical NBA size for what they do.
Right.
That's just a fact. That's just a fact. But with that being said, both of these guys, perfect for college basketball. Perfect for college basketball. And here's the thing. I personally am a big believer in production is production is production. If you can get it done, you can get it done. I don't care if your arms are longer than Darren Williams. Can you read the court like him? Oh, okay. I don't care if you're a few inches taller than Van Allen Lubin. Do you fight for the boards like him? Do you finish in the paint like him? Can you defend without fouling like him? Oh, okay. So I say all that to say they may be the best tandem in the ACC, but you know what also helps them out? Every piece around them. Because you combine these two with shooters around them that open up the floor, all of a sudden you're looking at a very scary situation. The easiest way to take away a guy in that dunker spot is with a center who is really, really athletic and really quick twitching, long, and he can jump to both spots and all that good stuff. But the other way, if you got a lot, and I mean a lot, of bodies packed in that paint, try that against this team. Jerry Dane going to light you up. Abel going to light you up. Holloman going to light you up. For as much as we talked about Carter Copeland's shooting being something that was, in question and getting better, 1 for 1 from deep, these guys will light you up across the board. So I think that these two will absolutely feed off each other, and I think that this duo will feed off the spacing provided by the shooters.
Last basketball comment from Brian with a Y. They say, that was beautiful. That made me feel something again. Talent, passion, new community being built. Awesome. I felt a part of it. It's the real NC State that we all know was there. It's let loose now. I think this is like poetically written because there was a real element to Monday night and hopefully on Friday evening as well, where you're watching that game and you're watching us put belt to behind. We're hitting a million threes. We're boxing out. We're playing defense. Everyone on the team can shoot. Everyone on the team can run the floor. And it's like, man, the fan base is fully engaged with this. The coaching staff is fully engaged with this. We're honoring our past, wearing the throwback uniforms. We got the noise meter, and we have legends in the building. DJ Burns is in the building. You got Chucky Brown on the radio call. It's like, this feels like everything we should have been doing for the last 30 to 35 years. All that time that's gone by, it's like, man, if we could just have one more shooter. Man, if we could have just won that one game. Man, if we could honor our past from time to time. Man, if we had a coach that was a stone cold killer. Now we have all of that. And after watching all of that unfold on Monday night, in just one game, I know, it truly felt like taking your first drink of water after roaming the desert for a week. It felt like, oh my gosh, I've been dying to see this. It's finally happening. This is everything we've ever wanted. And it's only just beginning. I thought this was perfectly said by Brian with a Y.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Again, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. This level of passion, this level of talent. Let's let loose. Let's get loose. Let's fully lean into this fully. That's why, and this is no shade to the people who are cautiously optimistic. There's no shade to the people who are like, I'm not sure. I'm just a believer, and it starts with the belief. It starts with that, yeah, I'm going to be a little unhinged. What about it? Yeah, this could work out badly for me. And all of the best things in life start off with what could have worked out very poorly.
100%.
When me and Grayson did our trial episode together, it could have went wrong. And now here we are, hundreds of episodes in, only a few listeners away from 4,000 on a show where me by myself, we were doing 200 or so, maybe 100. This is what I'm saying. You got to lean in. You've got to embrace it. And to me, I think when we throw caution to the wind and embrace this thing, that's not only how we get a winner. That's how we keep Will Wade here for the long term. When the entire fan base makes it clear, we support you, we love you, you'll never buy a drink in Raleigh. And obviously, it's not not buy a drink in Raleigh, meaning like he's poor, he ain't got no motion. That ain't what I'm saying here. What I am saying is make that love so clear and so evident that, like, dude, this is it. This is it. You've turned this team into a national contender, and we have in turn given every single ounce of us. We've packed out the Lenny every single game. We've shown up and broken the noise meter every single game. We've done every single thing we can, bought all the merch because, with revenue sharing, kids are about to potentially start getting a cut of that too. Bought all the stuff, watched all of it on TV when we're traveling. We've done everything we can to make NC State basketball a national brand. And at that point in time, you let the chips fall where they may. But Will Wade is doing his part to make sure that we can proudly say the Pack is back.
Will Wade can have any single thing he needs to build an empire in Raleigh, but it takes all of us to ensure that happens. That takes Will Wade himself, the roster, the administration, the coaching staff, the fan base, the boosters, everybody. That's why we talk about it so much. It takes all of us. And if we all row the boat in the same direction, Will Wade can be here for the rest of his career. You might think that's crazy. You might think that bigger fish will come calling. He can do it in Raleigh. Jim Valvano said dreams can be dreamt right here at NC State. They can. He has the resources. He has the recruiting. He has the facilities. We can do it all right here. And Monday night, that is truly what it finally felt like for the first time in God knows how long. Coming up next, we're going to switch gears and talk Fan Friday Football Edition. This comes after a quick word from our sponsors. Our second Friday sponsor is SupplyHouse. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with SupplyHouse. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow from over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times will keep you from punting on projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. The part finder tools and 3D schematics can help save you hours on jobs where every single detail matters. And if you need parts fast for a project, SupplyHouse has next day delivery. You want to talk about a game changer right there. Join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated phone support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off of your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Last couple minutes of our Friday show. Now time for Fan Friday Football Edition. Here we go. First one comes from Dave Jones. They say, it's crazy to think the top two ACC teams standing-wise, State has beat. I know UVA technically doesn't count as a conference game, but this year it is. Yeah, this does continue to boggle the mind. NC State has the two best wins within the ACC conference of anybody. You beat UVA in week 2. You beat Georgia Tech, who was undefeated at the time, in week 10. Unbelievable. It just kind of goes to show you that this team is capable of playing with anyone. There's a reason that we've said that so often this year. It's because it's true. It just comes down to aggression, execution, trusting your players, and trusting your game plan. When you can do all of that in a 4-quarter game, you can have a lot more nights like you had on Saturday night. You got a Friday night game coming up pretty soon against Florida State. Who knows? Maybe we put belts behind on them.
I think that the answer is a lot more simple than a lot of people think. And it is crazy to think the State has a win over both of those teams. But the answer is very simple. The offense has to get it done, and the defense has to just do enough. If you look at both of those games in which we had top wins, in both of those games, you're looking at the offense putting up over 35 points. Grayson and I told you coming into the season, that's what you're going to have to do. That's what it was going to be. And quick question, if the offense put up less than 35 against Georgia Tech, what happens in that game?
You lose.
Oh, okay. Against Virginia, 31-35, 4-point game. The offense has to lead the way. We knew about the defensive deficiencies, which, by the way, look at all those players that transferred out in our secondary now. TaMarcus don't even got a head coach no more down there in LSU. Hate to see that. South Carolina looking very similar with Mr. C say. Looking like how long is Beamer going to be there? And this ain't to diss those young men. It's just to say, ouch, man. If we could have held on to those guys, if we could have held on to them and done a little something here, because again, our secondary, it's been rough. It's been a struggle this year. But I say all that to say the reality of what this team is, it's a team that is offense, go light it up, defense, just hang on to the rope. And that's what happened in both of these games.
Next one comes from Steve Steinbeck. He says all three, and that means offense, defense, and special teams, pack phases performed for all 4 quarters. Where has this game been? Yeah, this is exactly what we've been talking about. Up until that Georgia Tech game, we had not played a complete game of offense, defense, and special teams. Every game, it felt like a seesaw. The offense plays good, the defense kills you. The defense shows up, the offense can't get it done. And then all of a sudden, you got special teams performing blunders left and right. Finally, we put a full, complete game together, and you beat a top 10 team. Funny what happens when you focus, realign yourself, have a players-only meeting, and you get back to the basics. Amazing things can happen when you lock in.
Our defense is who they are. Special teams just didn't kill us. Special teams just didn't kill that. That has literally been what I've been asking the special teams all year. I'm not saying, hey, y'all got to be game breakers and we got to have Noonkester every single punch got to be down inside the 10, and our kickers, Vincent and company, you got to be making 50-plus yarders and all that. I'm literally just like, hey, just find a way. Just find a way to be good enough. Just find a way to be decent and we'll be all right. But that's what happened against Georgia Tech. The offense are going to have to be the stars of the show. Offense is going to have to be the stars, and I will credit the defense with this. While they bent at many points against Georgia Tech, they did not break. There were multiple possessions where they forced field goals that if that possession goes another way, the game goes another way. So I do want to give defense credit there. But at the end of the day, this was the team's best performance of the year in terms of total team showing up against another team that is relevant, that is worth something, that is, going to piss a drop this year.
Last one here comes from Isaac Soul. Shout out to Mr. Isaac. This is Spike's dad. He says the formula has been set. Duke needs and has earned more touches. He can control the clock and keeps the defense off the field. Dude is a load. We have the skill at quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end, as we all know, including Smothers at running back, can move the ball when needed. Will Wilson is a load on the goal line situations. Duke, in my opinion, has to be involved more moving forward. Kenton, I do find this to be a very fascinating question. Duke's performance against Georgia Tech, 196 rushing yards and a touchdown. He was the runner-up National Player of the Week. Assuming that Hollywood Smothers will be back against Miami, and he's been a top 5 running back in the country, do you look to give Duke Scott a little bit more of a workload because of this performance? Do you trust that Hollywood will be Hollywood? How, in your opinion, should we manage that?
Well, I think it's not about whether or not you want Hollywood to be Hollywood or not. It's about keeping Hollywood fresh. And I think the more you can utilize Duke to spell Hollywood, the more healthy, more explosive Hollywood will be. There's been certain games where you could tell as the game went on, he was wearing down a little bit. And you say like, oh, man, if that's first quarter Hollywood, he's out the gates. He's going there. And that's not any disrespect or an affront to Hollywood, because a lot of people have the myth of like, oh, this player gets stronger as the game goes along. Whole time they just are not decreasing at the same rate as everybody else. But for Hollywood and his skill set, that ability to separate at the end of runs, it's just apparent that it's there in a way that it may not be later in games, which again is a product of whether or not you keep him fresh. So we've talked about this all year. Like this is, Mr. Souls is relaying something that we've talked about. It's 3rd and 8. The game is virtually over. Why is he carrying the ball there? It's a situation where we're conceding on 3rd and 14. We're probably not going to pick up the first. Why are we saying, all right, Hollywood needs a touch here in the screen or whatever? It's that type of deal. So I do think ball control, run the ball, set the stage to hit those deep shots by C.J. Bailey and these receivers. I do think that is the recipe, and I think Duke Scott getting more touches because Hollywood is coming off injury. I want to ease him back into it. I want to ease him back. I don't want to, hey, Hollywood's back, good, 35 touches. Whoa. Let's ease him back into this game, especially with the offensive line playing the way that they did in this last game. if you can get a similar look against Miami, and I know that's a tall order. Nobody's going to lie to you and say blocking Ruben Bain is super easy and everybody can do it. I could do it. I could not. If you put me on the field and told me, Ken, you got to block Ruben Bain to save your life, all I'd say is, can I make one call to my mama to tell her I love her before I go out there and do this? So the situation I'm looking at, I do think that Duke needs more carries, and I do think that we need to ease Hollywood back in as opposed to saying, boom, 30 touches out the gate.
I haven't seen much of it, so I don't know if they have it installed in the playbook, but I'd be interested to see some split back sets, and that's something I referenced way back in the offseason. Maybe you can find ways to utilize both of them at the same time. I do think there's certainly something to be said with Duke kind of announcing himself on a national stage as a real-time playmaker. It's like, how do you not try to utilize that more? But at the same time, you got Hollywood Smothers as well. We know that he's one of the best running backs in the entire country. He is the best running back in the ACC. Can you really take food off of? I think it's a super interesting discussion to have. But something else, it's a great problem to have.
Absolutely.
We have two guys that are so good, we don't know how to balance their carries. That's something that NC State needs to have more problems like in the future. So it will be very interesting to see what the game plan is for Miami. Do you try to ease Hollywood back into the equation? Do you trust that he's back at 100% and he's ready to go? That will be certainly something to keep your eye on coming out of the bye week ahead of next week's matchup in Miami. That will do it for us here on Friday. As always, thank you all so much for joining us. Be sure to hit that like button, drop your comments in the comment box, mash that subscribe button if you have not already. 9 p.m. tip-off in the Lenny on Friday evening for NC State men's basketball. Game 2 of the Red Reckoning. Don't forget where that head coach has been, what he's done to this NC State program. We will see you all on Monday for more, and until then, go Pack.
Go Pack.